Hi, I'm Bob Tabor with www.learnvisualstudio.net, and this is the first of several solution videos for the challenge I call the Adeptly Adaptive Challenge. Whew. All right, so let's go ahead and get started by creating a new project. I'm also going to turn off the webcam here so we can focus on just the screen. And I'm going to call this fake news. You can call it whatever you like to. And so in this first video, all we're going to do is set up the project and get the MainPage.xaml kind of laid out. And the first thing I want to do is open up the assets from the previous lesson. I'm going to copy the food and financial PNGs into the assets folder. So I'm just going to drag and drop them into assets. Great. And while I'm here in the Solution Explorer, I'm actually going to open up the instructions.txt. And I will keep those around and available. And let me pull this back out here. Also, since we're open up in the app.xaml.cs, I'm going to remove the frame counter. And then I'm going to open up the MainPage.xaml. And I know that I'm going to create two areas. A top area that will contain the search box and the title of the current page that we're on, and then in the second row of the grid we're going to add a split view with a pane in the content area. The content area will then contain a grid view ultimately with all of our news items. Okay, so let's go grid dot row definitions. Set this one auto, and the second one will be just star sizing. So in the top row, what we'll do is just add actually a relative panel, and I'm going to create first of all a button that'll be used for our hamburger button, the text block, which will be used for the for that title, that bold title, and then I'm going to use an auto suggest box for the search. Now we're not going to implement search, but I'm just going to use that and set it up here. So the button, we're going to set that to the relative panel dot right of align left with panel. True. And while I'm here, I should probably go ahead and just flush everything out here. This is going to be the hamburger button. And let's go ahead, and we know that we're going to use the font family of Sago MDL2 assets. And if we take a look in our little help file here, I know that we're going to use that font, that character. And let's set the font size equal to 20. And I think we'll just go ahead and set the width and the height to 45. That should be sufficiently large. And I'm going to set the alignment of this item to the center, and I'm also going to go ahead and create a click event for this guy. We'll come back to that. Great. All right, so now the text block will be relative panel right of hamburger button. Great. And I'm going to set the font size equal to 18. The font weight will be bold. I'm going to go ahead and give it a name as well because we're going to need that. So title text block, we're going to set it programmatically right. I think the only thing we'll need to do is probably give it some margin. So I want it like 20 pixels from the left, and I know I'm going to probably want to set some of it on the right as well, or at least on the top. All right, then next up, let's go to the auto suggest box. And I'm going to give this just the name my auto suggest box. I probably should give it a different name than that, but I'm lazy right now. And we're going to set the query icon to find. Give us a little magnifying glass. And then the placeholder text, we'll type in search. Now, if you'd like to do this, I would recommend that you go off and you build this functionality. You should have the tools already to do that sort of thing. So I want this aligned on the right-hand side. And I'll set the width equal to 200. And I know we're going to need some margin as well, so I'll just go ahead and take a stab at it. 0 on the left. I know I'm going to need some on the top. I'll come back to that one. Let's just say 10 from the right, 0. That should do it. Okay. So that's in the top row. The next row, let's add split view, and we'll set the grid.row equals 1. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a name as well, because I know we're going to want to control it programmatically from the hamburger button, right? So my split view, and I'm going to set the display mode equals compact overlay. Whoops. Go and do that. And let me go ahead and do this while I'm thinking about it. Split view dot content. Great. All right, and let me go back here and finish this idea up. I know I'm going to need the open pane length. I'm going to set it to like 150 to start and see if that works well. And then I'm going to set the compact pane length to 45. I'm setting it to the same width as my hamburger button. Okay. Now we have a split view, and inside that we're going to add the list box like I've been working with here. And I'm going to set the selection mode equal to single, and I'm going to set the selection changed equal to new event handler. Should be good. Okay, good. Inside of here, I'm going to need a few list box, or at least 2 list box items. So the first one, I'm going to create a stack panel, and we've done this so many times already. Hopefully this isn't foreign to you. So the orientation equals horizontal, and we'll use 2 text blocks, right? The first one will be that Segoe MDL2 asset, so font family. And I think I'm using font size 20 for those assets. And I think, if memory serves me correctly, I put that in here as well. And yeah, we'll use that as the home. So we'll set the text equal to that. And the second one, text block, will just have the text. So financial, set the font, actually font size equal to 18. And I know I'm going to need some margin on the left, so I'll go ahead and just use 20 there. I'm also going to name this the first item financial. And so that should pretty much wrap up that first list box item. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to copy the whole thing. And actually, let me copy the whole thing, list box item. There we go. And I'll replace this one. I'm just going to replace this with food, and this will be food, and then the icon should be the star, I believe. Great. All right, that should take care of that. Now, inside of the content area, I know I'm going to have a grid view. Just trying to figure out what needs to happen inside of there. I know that I'm going to want, let me just try a grid view by itself and see where that takes us. I may have to come back and revisit this, but we'll start here. And I'm going to give this the name news item grid, and I'll set the horizontal alignment equal to stretch. That should take up the entire width of the available area. Margin, I'm going to give me a little margin on the left hand side. And I know I'm going to need an item source property, and I'm also going to need to do things like the grid view template, or I'm sorry, item template, and I have to do like a data template, and we'll come back to that in an upcoming lesson. So I'll just get that kind of set up for now. Let me see what this looks like just to get started here. Again, I want to emphasize that in these videos, I blow through writing this code because I've already done it once. It's fresh on my mind. I have some notes as well to help. If this were a real application development effort, I would probably take my time. Okay, you can't see anything because we haven't wired up that button yet. I tell you what, let me go ahead and get that part working. So I'm going to go in the code behind for the MainPage.xaml here. And in the hamburger button click event, we'll go my split view dot is open as pane open not equal to my split view dot is pane open. All right. Let's go ahead and run it now. Whoops, what don't you like? Oh, sorry. That's what it should be. Sorry about that. All right, there you go. All right, so we're off to a good start. Next up, we're going to work, I think, on the data. I forget. I'll look at my notes. But that should at least complete the first setup steps in the general layout. Okay, so let's pick it up in the next lesson. Thanks.